Hey, it's Brock here with Rock Hill Farm, and I'm out here today to do some mowing with the new Flail Mower. Now, in the last video, I did a full setup on this mower, and I decided that I really needed to cut the PTO shaft a little bit shorter. But because I have it offset today, it's going to work fine for today, and in a future video, I'll probably show the process of actually cutting that down and measuring it and getting it sized properly. But for today, I'm gonna mow what I believe to be about 7 acres. This is not some special project to try to demonstrate the capabilities of this mower. 2 weeks ago, I demonstrated a very similar Maschio flail mower, and we intentionally ran over some smaller trees and saplings, and we mulched up some brush and limbs and really tried to push the capabilities of it. That's not what today's about. Today is about the fact that I do paid tractor work, and today this mower hopefully is going to make me a little bit of money. This is a property that is, I believe the property is 10 acres, but obviously you don't mow where the house is and where they park and the yard. So I think the part I mow is around 7 acres, and it's mostly like what you see over here behind me. Kind of thick, and it's, brush and weeds and stickers and briars and just whatever happened to come up, right? And that's a lot of the type of jobs I normally do with the rotary cutter. And what I want to determine for myself and for you as a viewer is if this is a better tool for that than, your traditional rotary cutter like I've used before. I've also mowed this property once with the skid loader, and there's pros and cons to that too. So at the end of the video, I'm going to talk about mowing with a tractor rotary cutter, a skid steer rotary cutter, and this flail mower, kind of pros and cons. But first things first, let's show you the property a little bit, show you what I'm dealing with, and then we will fire it up and get started. Okay, so here's just a sample of what we're mowing. For reference, here's about how tall that stuff is. This is some of the taller sections. Parts of this have been mowed more recently than others, so some of it's already short, and some of it's taller like this, and some of it's even a little thicker than this. But this is a good sampling of what I'm dealing with. Let's see if we can go ahead and get the tractor warming up. I actually already ran it a little bit this morning just to move it over here. Temperature is in the high 20s, I think. High of 42 today. So I'm glad today that I have the cab. It's gonna keep the dust off me, and it's gonna keep me warm. Okay, so I have never actually mowed this side of the property, which reminds me of the fact I've actually brush cut here 4 times because I went and picked up an 845 Ford Powermaster. Might have that number wrong, but an old Ford Powermaster tractor, and I brush hogged that side over there with that Powermaster. And then the property owner used that Ford tractor to finish this. But since I haven't done this side before and it's a little bit thicker, I think we'll do this first. We've got 50, 60 yards that way, and then the length is this way. So I'm going to start right here in this opening and start making a square around it. Even though this particular mower doesn't have a ton of offset, I found that the offset it does have made it easier to mow close to this fence line. Because obviously there's a lot of smaller trees that have limbs sticking out, making it hard to get the tractor right up against the fence. And this little bit of offset helped. Now this spot right up here, I was going to just drive through it and mulch it all up, but as the front of the tractor started going through this patch, I saw there was quite a few big chunks of wood in there and also some rocks protruding, and decided it wasn't really worth it. Doesn't look like this part's been mowed in a while, so I just went around it. Like I said earlier, I did show in the last video, you can mulch up some pretty good sized chunks of wood, especially if they're dead and rotting on the ground, but it probably prolongs your blade life if you don't. I would definitely say that with a flail mower, rocks are not your friend, but honestly that's true with anything that you use to mow. It basically took me 2 passes around this perimeter to get the hang of this. The first pass, I was mainly just focused on where I needed to keep the tires on the tractor to have the mower where I wanted it. On the second pass, I was adjusting the 3-point height and the hydraulic top link a little bit. But once I got the hang of those, it's just set it and forget it. And I just drove and got a great cut. I want to get some more time on this before I really try to give a comparison between a rotary cutter and a flail mower. But there's one thing that is undeniable, and that's that you get a much cleaner cut with a flail mower. I'm just really impressed with the way it almost mulches this material up. Temperature's coming up quite a bit. Time to clear that radiator. Some people left comments on another one of my videos saying that a flail mower by design requires less horsepower, and that's not the effect I'm feeling. Now, this grass was a lot taller, and at this point it's winter weather, it's cold and matted down, but it really feels like it's bogging the tractor down if I try to drive very fast. So what I do is I watch my RPMs, which obviously are supposed to run at 540 when running a PTO attachment. And if that RPM starts dropping, then I slow the tractor down. And I found I was only able to drive about half speed. That's obviously a result of the size of the tractor in comparison to the size of the mower. So if this was a 50 horsepower tractor instead of 38, I could probably drive quite a bit faster without bogging down the engine. But I felt like it almost bogged down more than my rotary cutter does, which honestly makes more sense to me because you're mulching the material. It's like having the flap closed on a mulching mower. Well, there's been a lot of talk about flail mowers on the channel, but it's nice to actually do some mowing. Since I only got half the job done, I'll be finishing it within the next few days. And probably in that video, I'll go more in depth on after doing 10 acres, how do the blades look and everything like that. So that'll be more of a review on it. This property's 10 acres. I'd say I just did 4 acres. Took me 3 hours to do 4 acres. So that's not real fast. It's a little slower than the brush hog, but it leaves a really nice finished cut. So overall, I'm happy with it. I appreciate you taking time to watch. I'll put links on the screen to a couple more of our videos, and I'll see you next time.